Started out practice in Bombay. Who were your contemporaries? Who did you look up to at that time?
Well, amongst the youngsters, Palkiwala was one. He was a couple of years senior to me in age, but not very much senior to me in the profession because I had, started much earlier in life. He was a bit of a prodigy and a very, very successful junior. Of course, later on I came to know his great hold over economics when he used to make his annual budget speeches. And that I realized long after when I attended one of his budget lectures at the Cricket Club of India. That was the place where he used to deliver lectures. Then there was Mr. Chandrachud, who later on became the Chief Justice of India. Lula brothers, Sri Krishnadas Lula and Balkrishnan Lula, very great lawyers, one on the civil side, another on the criminal side. There used to be Mr. Abdul Rahman, I believe, the grandfather of this lady who is now the minister in the PPP government in Pakistan. What is her name? I forget her name. Sherry Rahman.
Okay.
Sherry Rahman, that's her name. She's a very charming young lady and a very clever woman. And she's Abdul Rahman's granddaughter. And the daughter of Mr. Hassan Ali was my friend and colleague. So these are some of the names that I can easily recall.
Okay, so coming to the 1960s, you led the prosecution in the Nanavati trial. Tell us about your involvement in criminal law, how you entered criminal law.
I entered criminal law from the very first day of my life in Karachi. And I had never specialized in criminal law.
Yes.
The only thing is that a criminal case attracts great public attention because people get involved in the criminal history of other people. And from a lawyer's point of view, when you argue a great point of constitutional law or simple law and make an intellectual success, that's a greater achievement than arguing a very celebrated murder case or a celebrated case of. So, my father was a criminal lawyer, my grandfather was a criminal lawyer. So I have no difficulty in saying that I gravitated to the criminal side right from the beginning. And it was in my genes. And I did get involved in some very important cases right in the beginning of my career in Bombay. One of my friends who had got some very important clients in some important dacoity cases, like at the Mahalakshmi Temple dacoity, the bank dacoity case. He was taken up in the administrative service. So he told me that, "Hey, Ram, you do my work because I have taken fees from these people. Now I have no money to refund to them. You will do these cases free." I said, "I'll certainly do these cases free for you. Don't worry about it." I had argued those cases and I became a famous jury lawyer. In those days we used to have trial by jury, which we abolished in the late, I think, early 60s or late 50s, I forget. Now we abolished jury trial, but I became a famous jury trial lawyer. So I have never looked back.
If you had to tell the story of jury trials, how you prepared for jury trials to the lawyers of today.
Well, you see, to argue a case before a jury is a much different kettle of fish than arguing before a judge. There your eloquence, your oratory, your dramatics, your understanding of human nature and the layman's mind. This is something which you pick up by seeing great masters. You don't learn it in a classroom. And fortunately today, the Indian lawyer doesn't have to face a jury trial, so today it is a little meaningless. But I believe that that same thing, to some extent, is a great asset even when you are appearing before a judge. After all, a judge is also, in a sense, a juror, except that he thinks he is not, but he is in some sense. So, but the heart of success in the legal profession is industry. It is meant for people who work hard and are capable of putting that kind of work. You'll be surprised, one of the greatest jury lawyers of India in those days used to be Asaf Ali. Asaf Ali was the husband of this socialist leader, Aruna Asaf Ali. Aruna, the husband. A great lawyer. And I saw him in action in Karachi when I was young. He came to defend some Dr. Abbasi was supposed to have killed a boy with whom he had some homosexual relations. It was a very, very great trial, attracted a lot of public attention. And I used to attend that. So Asaf Ali, when he qualified, was one of the stories which he used to tell us. He went to the famous firm of Frederick Pollock and Muller in London and tried to join that firm. So he was interviewed, and the old man there asked him, he said, Mr. Asaf Ali, please tell me how many hours of work can you put in? So poor Asaf Ali tried to strain the truth as much as he could. And he said, sir, I couldn't put in at least about 10, 12 hours every day. And so, oh, so he looked at him like that. He said, listen, Mr. Asaf Ali, I'm the oldest member of this firm. I'm thrice your age. I put in 22 hours sometimes. But they gave him a job. But the job that they gave him was that we receive most of our litigation in the Privy Council from the state of Tamil Nadu, in those days Madras. And the names of these clients are jaw-breaking. So you better decipher these names for us and tell us these spellings and the pronunciation of their names. So that's the first job that he got, and he took it. And then you see, ultimately he rose to be a great lawyer, a great politician, and a great success. There's no question about it. And he was one of the most eloquent, and he was a great cross-examiner. And it's I tell the legal profession that the art of cross-examination is dead. The trials hardly take place. And the trials take place, now that you don't have a jury trial, the trials don't go on every day, continuously. You have one hearing today, you have another hearing after 3 months, and the trials go on for years and years. So that cross-examination no longer exists, and justice does not depend merely on law. It depends on facts. And unfortunately, in this country, people lie a little more frequently than in other countries, at least in the countries in the West. And you have to extract truth from very unwilling, reluctant witnesses. Be sure that when a witness swears, I'll speak the truth, nothing but the truth, the whole truth, you can by a look at him know that the rascal has come to speak a walloping lie. Then to get the truth out of him is a great art, and that itself requires great introspection and industry, which doesn't exist today at the bar. And all these young lawyers will start practice directly in the Supreme Court. They have never done a single trial in their life. So the profession is not in that kind of a trim shape as it should be. It's a very bad shape.
All right, sir. Another facet of criminal trials, as you pointed out, is the media attention. As an officer of the court, how do you insulate yourself from media attention, also public opinion?
You see, you don't have to isolate yourself from public opinion, but do not allow what your conscience wants you to do and you are required to do according to your understanding of professional obligations. Don't be influenced by adverse public criticism. Otherwise, I'm also in politics, so I can't be totally insensitive to public opinion. I should be a very foolish politician if I don't take care of that. But the media is becoming terribly invasive, intrusive, and I regret to say that that there are cases of perversion of justice, miscarriage of justice, purely because of press action. And in legal theory, they say it is juries who are influenced by media. The judges are not, but it's a fallacy, biggest fallacy. The judges are as human as any juror can be, and however well trained they are, be sure that they are influenced by the press. And I don't believe that the press is doing